Hello, my name is Jared Krebs. I'm pictured here with my wife Crystal and our dog Tasia, and we are very excited for today's special guest. We have on the line with us Mr. Mario Ray, Ruby Director from San Antonio, Texas. I originally met Mario when I first started my USANA business, and I'm not sure at what level he was at, but I've seen Mario grow through this company. Mario, thank you for being on the line. Thank you for staying so committed to USANA. Thank you for all the hard work you put into your business. And thank you for leading by example to not only your team, but to our team and the entire USANA family at large. We're very excited to hear your story. And we really appreciate that you took some time tonight to be with us.
Thank you, Jared.
So the floor is yours. I know that you have a great story starting from being a traditional business owner. So we want to hear about that and, how you learned about USANA back when you were a prospect, some of the things that you had to overcome when you started your business, some of the challenges. Share with us some of your biggest successes. What are some of the greatest things you've gotten from your USANA business? And really just anything else you feel led to share. The floor is yours, and then we'll have some questions afterwards.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I want to commend you and your parents for putting together these web conferences for your team. That's excellent. That's really great work. I feel honored by being invited to be a guest in your web conference. And I'm just very glad to be here.
Awesome.
Well, I think we can start by talking about when I started over 12 years ago. And at that time, I had my own traditional business, like we call them, which was a document imaging company in that industry, document imaging industry. And I had, at that time, that business already for 17 years. And it was a good business. I was busy with it. It was not too big of a business, but it kept me busy and gave my family and me a nice income to be able to provide for my wife, myself, and our 4 children. So when I was approached by a good friend to join USANA, to be honest with you, I was very skeptical, not interested, and I felt that I had no time. But mainly, I was not interested because I had my own business, so why get into something that I wasn't sure it was for real? So, and also, my time was divided by my family, my business, children activities, church activities. I was pretty busy. So I was going to tell this man no. But I read everything he gave me. I wanted to find a flaw in whatever the company that he was presenting to me or the products, and be able to tell him a week later when we were going to meet again that, look, this is not going to work. I investigated this thing, and here are all the problems that I see, and I really don't want to get involved in these. Well, I did my due diligence to do that, to say no. And at the end, I couldn't say no because I didn't find the flaws that I was expecting to find. And I didn't find any professional excuse to give to this man. But he was a good friend. He was a very good friend, and I wanted to do that in order not to just say no. I wanted to give him a reason. Well, I couldn't find that reason. So what I did is I ended up saying yes. And why, in the back of my mind, why did I do that? Well, it was because I knew that the business that I had was a good business, was an honest business, professional business, but I knew that I was not going to be able to retire with that business, at least not the way I wanted or when I wanted. So, because why? Because nowadays it's very difficult to retire with savings alone, and that was my only option. Make money, save it, and then retire. Well, that's not that easy today. And today, and now 12 years later is even worse because we almost have negative interest rates in your savings. So anyway, the possibility of creating additional income that could help me to retire was one of the reasons after I couldn't find any flaws. The other reason was the integrity of the person that brought the business to me. He was a very good friend, but most of all, he was a very professional individual with high spiritual values and high moral values. So I said, well, if this man is doing this business, it must be for real. So those two reasons, the possibility of retiring from my traditional business and the belief that this man was probably saying the truth. Good. So the integrity of this man, which to me was very important,
Yeah.
and the fact that it seemed to be in all my due diligence that it was a company that was for real and the products for real, I decided to do it. And once I decided to do it, I did it because that's how I've always been. Once I decide to do something, I commit to that and I dedicate time and effort to whatever I decide. And I did that. And even though I was very busy, I was able to squeeze in about 5 to 8 hours per week into the business. And I did that for several months, and it worked. It did work. In 8 months, I was able to go to Silver Director, and 3 months later to Gold Director. So
Wow.
At that point, Elia, who at the beginning had nothing to do with the business, began to get interested in it and started getting involved in learning about it and helped me with it. So in the past, she had always been supportive and encouraged me in the business, but not active in the business. Well, now she's been active with me for several years. I don't know, 8, 10 years already that she's been helping me and being active in growing the business with her own efforts and contribution, not just doing what I would ask her to do. She takes initiative and she does things, and that's great. Now, about 7 years ago, we were able to achieve Ruby Directors, and it has been truly wonderful to be at that level. During all these years in the business, our perseverance, I would say our consistency and discipline have been the keys for what we have accomplished. We could not have made it without two things: our faith in God and the help of all our team. In this business, you need the help of a team and the help of God. We also had very good examples to follow. We had people here in San Antonio like the Penrods, the Hunters, Matt Ryan, Jeremy Stanfield in Utah, many other leaders that we learned from, even Crossline also. So, yes, learning is super important in this business. I had never done any network marketing business before, much less Elia. So we both had to learn. So from the beginning, I went to every Thursday Health and Freedom, to every Super Saturday training, and Elia started going with me afterwards, and to every STI event, and of course, every international convention since we joined. We haven't missed one. It's very important. Now, we also have read, and we still read, many books to grow ourselves, to motivate ourselves. We have gone to training events by different trainers, not with USANA, but in other industries that can also help us grow. And the most important thing we have done is to share our story. That's really the most important thing, to share our story, health story, business story, company story, product story, everything. And how did we do that? Well, the number one thing was overcoming our fears of many things. But mostly, I guess, fears of rejection, maybe of ridicule, of what will my friends say, what will my family say, fear of being laughed at, or talking to friends and strangers. That alone, just talking to friends and strangers of a business or a product, may create fear in you. And also, deep inside of each one of us is the fear of success. Sometimes we are afraid of, what if I succeed and then I'm unable to keep that success going? So it has not been easy, but it's never been easy to succeed at any business or at any endeavor in life. And in business, every honest business demands commitment, dedication, persistence, consistency, discipline, and the courage to go at it alone, by yourself. You are not an employee that can go to your boss or the owner of the company. You are the company. So our USANA business has been tremendous, and a great factor in that was a great factor in for me to say that it's been a tremendous, fantastic business is that it allowed me to retire, or I should say semi-retire, 6 years ago. Because 6 years ago, I led my traditional business to be run by my right-hand man, and I stepped out of the daily game. I made him the general manager, gave him all authority. I decreased my salary, and I increased his salary. And we went like that for 6 years. Now, for good or bad, I did not go into doing USANA business full-time during that time, because I decided to continue with USANA with just a few hours a week and to spend more time with my wife, traveling, reading, church activities, entertainment, other things that we wanted to do for a long time, but we were busy growing a family, taking care of the children, running a traditional business. So it was time for us to have more freedom, to be more with each other. And there were 6 wonderful years, even if we did not rank advanced during that time. That was not our priority. So then, with the help of God, last year, back in October of last year, I sold my document imaging business. And for these past 9 months, I should say, have been just amazing. So much freedom. So much freedom. Unbelievable. The time when you're having fun, time flies. So these 9 months have gone very fast for Ellie and me. and we've been very busy. So we're retired, but it's busy, which is good. You don't want to sit down and watch TV all day or play golf all day or whatever. You'll get bored. So, but we still continue to dedicate a few hours a week to our USANA business, and we've done it all along, and we love it. It's a great business. It's a great business that gives you a lot of satisfaction, not only health and money. So, in a way, I know that we're not great examples of a hard-working USANA leader, but I think we are very good examples of how this business can give you great income and satisfaction, even when you do it on a part-time basis. So, because we've never done it full-time. And it has given us everything we wanted. Well, I wouldn't say everything we wanted because we always want more, right? But it's given us what has given us that freedom and satisfaction and a lot of happiness and peace and joy. So what has been our system, if you will call it like that, for working the business, for those of you that are listening and probably just beginning in the business? Well, one of the things we always try to do is we try to do something for our business every day, from Monday to Saturday. Every day, a little something for our business. Even if it's something very small, that may take only a few minutes, but something every day for our business. We also try to meet new people every time we can. We get to know more about them. And when we see that there's something we can do for their health or their financial situation, we tell them that we would like to tell them about the products that we take or the business that we have. In other words, we set an appointment, what in the business is called an invitation, right? We set an appointment to have coffee, or in the case of Elia, to have tea. She doesn't drink coffee. To have coffee or tea with them, to tell them about the products that we take, in case we see that they can be preferred customers only, or the business that we have, if we see in them business potential. So, and we tell them that we want to tell them about what we do and why we do it. And 99% of the times, that's enough to get an appointment. And one thing that is important to mention here for especially new people, we are strong believers of one-on-one presentations. That has been the backbone of our business. And for that, our favorite tool, almost exclusively or exclusive tool, is the USANA newspaper. And sometimes we use also the large product catalog, when the one that has all the ingredients for every product, when we're talking with someone that is very much health-oriented or knowledgeable about nutrition or ingredients. Then the second key is the follow-up. Once we present to someone, it's so important to follow up. We have to meet again with those people. And if necessary, we have to follow up several times, sometimes many times. Because if that's necessary to help that person to make the decision, then that's what we need to do. Because that's what the follow-up is for. The follow-up is not to bug the customer or the potential associate. It's not to be a pest for them. It's to try to help them to make a decision, whatever that decision may be. But if we don't follow up, they are not deciding. We are. And that decision, of course, is that they'll never join or never get the products because we never follow up. Another important factor is to be able to and willing to train, help, support the people that we have brought into the business. We need to be there for those people. We need to be there for them every time they need us. We offer them a partnership for life, not just to get them enrolled or to get the points from their purchase. We're going to be there for them whenever they need us. At the beginning, I have to confess that I was mostly trying to get the sale. Yes, just trying to get the sale, like in any business. But with time, when I truly understood what these products can do for the health and life of individuals, when I truly understood the freedom and the changes in people's lifestyle that this business can give, I began to realize that God sent this business to my life not just for my benefit, but for the benefit of the people that we come across with. So now I don't do the business for me, but for them. I tell you, don't do it for you. Do it for them. Now, if you ask me, what do you need to succeed in USANA? Well, I already mentioned several things, but let me kind of group them here really quick. I would say among those several things, I would say it starts with integrity. I joined this business because of the integrity of a person. And I think that is true in many, many situations in our business. Lots of people join not because they trust the products of the company. They don't even know them. They've never tested the products more than likely. They've never taken them before. They've never been in Salt Lake City, Utah. But they believe in the integrity of that person. Or at least they believe in that person. But if that person has integrity, it's going to work out. And what is to have integrity? Is that you always do what you say you will do. You never lie. You never exaggerate. You always tell the truth. Then you need to have a big desire. And in my case, as I said before, it was to retire from my traditional business. Then the next thing we need to do is personal growth. We need to learn as much as we can and never, ever stop learning. Because that's how we attract people, by being a better person that they feel like they want to work with, that they feel they want to be friends with, that they trust to make money together, or they trust their health to. And of course, we need perseverance, persistency, consistency, patience, and determination. And determination to never quit, and the determination to succeed. Because you have to have that determination, not just to be there, but to succeed. Not just to be part of something, but to be part of the success of that something. And of course, you need to have goals, personal goals that can pull you towards the direction you want to go. And you need to have those goals in writing and read them as much as you can. Put them in your subconscious. It's also very good to have a journal, a notebook where you write the important things that you learn, the quotes that move you, that motivate you. And like I said before, do something for your business every day, no matter how small. Don't let your business door to be closed for a single day. What would you say if you go to H-E-B or Sam's or Walgreens or wherever you go and it's closed? And tomorrow, oh, they close too. We need to have our business open every day. And finally, remember not to do it for you. Do it for them. Do it for God. And them and God will do it for you. Jared, I think that's what I can tell you tonight. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to cover.
Oh, yes. We're definitely going to have questions, Mario. First of all, thank you so much for sharing your story. I've been taking notes. I love everything you had to say. Some of the things that stood out to me were do it like you had just said, do it for them, do it for God, and them and God will take care of you and take care of the rest. Having your heart in the right place, having your business open every day, doing something every day. Also, I think it's really impressive that you've done this part-time the whole 12 years. You've just stayed really, really, really consistent. And I mean, a Ruby Director income is a great income. And it's awesome to hear that, and that you guys have had that this last 9 months, this supreme time freedom that has been really, really special. So those were some of the main things that I took from what you had to say tonight. And thank you for making some time for us. And we definitely are going to have questions. We have a lot of people on the line right now. So if you have a question, please raise your hand on the webinar or send me a text if you have my cell phone number. Many of you do, then we can unmute you. Let me see here. Okay, we got a lot of people on the webinar. Who has the first question tonight for Mr. Mario Ray?
Hi, Jared. It's your mom, Viola.
All right, Mom, and then I have a question from Khalid Medina as well. But go ahead, Mom.
Everything has been so wonderful, Mario. I've got like so many pages of notes here, and everything is so true. Everything you've spoken about, they're all such key points. I just wonder, what was your biggest obstacle? I know you talked about several, but like your biggest obstacle, and how did you overcome it?
Well, I think my biggest obstacle was myself, because we put our own fears in front of our goals. And when we put our fears in front of our goals, we cannot see the goal anymore. So I already was if you can call that a successful business, not because I was a millionaire, but because I had been in business for a long time on my own. And that in itself is a success for any small business in America. The majority of businesses don't last 3, 4, 5 years. And mine lasted for a long time. So when you feel like you have certain success, that success may be an obstacle to trying something totally different, because you may be risking your reputation. So I think I was the main obstacle, and I had to overcome that. And it's not a fear that once you overcome and never comes back. It's a fear that keeps knocking on your door every day. So I would say fear, and probably most people have it. They don't have to be business owners to have that fear. We all have fear of many things. So that was, to me, the main obstacle. I
Wow.
wouldn't say anything compares to that. I was the main obstacle.
Oh, wow. Wow. So, congratulations on overcoming that. I know that's huge, and I'm sure you went through a lot of personal development and growth to get there. But I've really thoroughly enjoyed your story this evening, and I'll let the rest ask questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Khalid Medina, I just unmuted you.
All right. Hey, Mario. My question is, I guess like two parts. Did you purely build your business on one-on-ones? And if so, why is it that you feel like those are so effective, and why is it that you personally like the one-on-one presentations?
Well, good question. Very good question. Because sometimes people would like to talk to a bunch of people at the same time, and I really don't like that. I mean, other than the health and freedom presentations, which I have been speaker on many times, but you do it for a large group that they're not always even your guest, but somebody else's guest. I believe that in a one-on-one presentation, you have 100% of the attention of that person. And when you have 2, 3, 5, 20 people listening to you, not everybody's giving you 100% of the attention, but most importantly, you cannot give 100% to of your attention to each of the individuals. On the other hand, if you have two people, let's just say 2 or 3 people, but one of them is very shy and introvert, it's probably never going to raise the hand and speak or ask a question. While you may have in the same group a very extrovert person that talks like crazy, doesn't let anybody else talk. And so you're going to waste time with that person, and maybe the best person in the group is the introvert, the shy person that is not willing to ask a question in front of others. So when you are on one-on-one, that person will have more courage to ask questions because there's nobody else listening or judging but you and him, or you and her. So I believe that the attention part, the total concentration on that person and that person in you, creates a great bond that can help overcome objections in their mind. And you can read their eyes, you can read their expression, you can read how they conduct themselves as they're listening to your talk. If you're talking to 5 or 6, it's very difficult to do that. So I've always liked the one-on-one, and it's been very effective for us.
Got it. Great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Any other questions? We have about 5 more minutes. So I have a question for you, Mario, while we're waiting for any final questions. When did you know, when did you really know that this business was for you? Like how far into the process did you really get excited about it?
Well, it's a double answer to that. The first part of the answer is, once I made the decision, maybe because that's the way I am.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Can you hear me well?
Yes, that I had forgot to unmute Khalid. So go ahead.
Okay. I was saying that I have like a double answer for that. One is that when I made the decision to do it, and maybe because that's the way I am, once I decide to do something, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to make it work. I didn't have, and this may sound presumptions, but I'm not boasting. I'm telling you the truth. If you, not just me, but you, anybody listening, and you've done it because you're very successful, Jared. If you or anybody listening decides to do something and sticks to that decision and puts his or her effort on it, they're going to do it. They're going to succeed. How much will they succeed? Well, there are many levels of success, but they will succeed. So when I decided, I had no doubt that was going to work because I wanted to. I wanted it to work, so I had to make it work. But then the second part of the answer to what you're saying is, when I went to my first Health and Freedom ever, my first one here in San Antonio, and I heard speak, the two speakers were Matt Ryan and Brian Penrod. When I heard Brian Penrod speak that night, and hearing that he used to be a waiter, and now the man was speaking there in front of, I don't know, 100 people, like a very well-trained and educated executive of a large company with so much confidence and optimism and faith and enthusiasm, that when I saw him speak, I said, and I was much older than him, I said, I want to be like that guy, and I want to do what he does. And so that was kind of a confirmation to me that this was the business that I wanted to do, because I admired the way someone, one of our leaders, behaved in public and did such a great presentation. So those two things were my answer to you, the confirmation that was the business that I wanted to do. On the side, of course, because I had my other business.
Yeah. Wow. That's a really cool story to hear. Thank you, Mario.
Yeah, and the funny thing too is that when I said that, when I saw Brian and said that, and I said I want to be like that guy, I also said in my mind, I'm going to be like him. One day I'm going to speak on stage, on that stage. I'm going to speak on that stage. So I set a vision for me to do it, and you know that it happened because later on I was one of the presenters. So we can do many things if we set our mind to do it, and if we set a vision for ourselves, and with the help of God and hard work, we can do everything.
Great story, great vision, Mario. Thank you. We have two more questions here, and then we'll end the webinar. This I'm going to go ahead and unmute Rebecca Armstrong from Raleigh, North Carolina. All right, Becky, are you there?
I'm here. Mario, thank you for being tonight. I'm so excited to hear what you got to say. Something that really struck me, several times you said, I just did it because that's the way I am. And, we've been told that you attract people that are like you. What happens, though, when you attract somebody who's opposite of your personality? How do you help someone who isn't motivated by the same way that you are?
Who is the same way that I am?
What if you get someone who's your polar opposite? And for you, say for you, you make a commitment, you just stick through with it, and that's never been an issue for you. You're just driven that way. And you get someone well-intentioned that's a flake. Or, one of your others, say something that's totally your personality strength, and this person doesn't have it at all. How do you help them?
Okay. I get it. So you're saying when I find people that don't have that determination. Well, unfortunately I have to tell you that a huge percentage of the people are not like that. So we as associates and leaders have to deal with that and have to learn how to deal with that. I didn't know how to deal with that at the beginning because I always had, well, not always because I was an employee at the beginning, but for many years I had employees. I was the boss. I was the owner. I gave the orders and they would have to do what I said. Well, in USANA, you don't have employees. This is an army of volunteers. So you cannot tell them what to do. You have to show them what to do and hope that they will imitate what you do. You train them, you build them up, you help them to grow, you help them to develop that determination that they don't have. So our work is to be a mentor to those people that don't have the determination to do things that we have the determination to do. So we're the mentors, we're the examples, we're the guides, we're the motivators. And we teach them and tell them and help them and show them. And if after doing your best effort, they still don't want to do it, then they don't want to do it. There's an old saying that you can take a horse to the water, but you cannot make the horse drink. And that's what happens in these businesses. Just remember, it's an army of volunteers. We cannot force them. Either they volunteer and do things or they don't. And that will happen. But it happens in every business. You know, how many businesses you see that different, that have nothing to do with network marketing, they open up, and after a few months or years, they close. Because the owners didn't have that determination, that fire in the belly, that desire. And they didn't have the discipline or the perseverance or the constancy, the courage to continue. So that's how we deal with those people. We're doing our best to help them to have what they don't have.
That makes really good sense. Thank
Does
you.
that help?
I like where you say you just go forward and you hope they'll imitate. I really love the language that you're using. The military, the army of volunteers and the courage to continue. Those are strong statements.
Yeah. Yeah. We need to be motivators. We need to be people that show them what they cannot see. We have to be visionaries that help others to have a vision. We have to be dreamers that help others to have a dream. And we have to be workers that help others to work.
I like that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have one last question. Barbara Medina in San Antonio, you are unmuted.
Hi, how's she doing?
Good, thank you.
Hello? Awesome. My question is, how do you retain your clients? Is there any specific thing you do with your clients and associates to help keep them? Can you tell me anything or what do you do specifically?
Well, I guess your question in a way is very related to the one that which is answered a few minutes ago. There's only so much that we can do to retain our customers and our associates. We do our best to teach them, train them, help them, motivate them, be in contact with them. One of the things we need to do is to keep in contact with them. Don't just enroll them and forget about them. You have to enroll them and work with them and train them and make them self-sufficient. Make them see the vision that you see, the possibilities that you see with this business. Because many people have no vision and they cannot see any farther than they do. Hello? Jared, are you there?
yeah, we
Hello?
hear you. Sorry, we had feedback from Barbara's line. Go ahead.
Okay. So retention is important, but we also need to know that what we call attrition, it's going to happen. It doesn't matter how. Attrition meaning that there will be people that will leave you, people that will leave the business, that will quit the business, people that will prefer customers that will stop taking the products. That is going to happen. That is something that we cannot avoid 100%. We can be very good partners with our associates. We can be good trainers. We can be good encouragers, good motivators. We can help them. We can do presentations for them. But there's only so much that you can do to change somebody's attitude. We cannot change people's attitude. We can only change our own attitude. And if they don't change their attitude, if they don't change their own beliefs, we're not going to be able to do it. And we just show them, and then they have to decide. It's a decision. And if they want to leave, they're going to leave. We cannot force them to stay. But if they see your dedication and your faith and your belief and your vision, perhaps they will. So the answer is just be the best that you can be. And that's why I mentioned God before. Ask God for help, because He can do what you cannot do. And if it's His will, He's going to help those people to change their attitude and their mind.
Awesome. Thank you, Mario. We had some problem on feedback with Barbara's line, so I had to mute her. But thank you for the question, Barbara. And Mario, we are now out of time, but thank you for spending the extra time answering everybody's questions, because it really made a difference to everyone. And thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know that this is not your particular team, yet you've taken an hour plus now out of your day to help us and help us grow. And so we really appreciate your commitment to us and helping us, and for sharing your wisdom on the call tonight.
Well, it's a pleasure, Jared. You've been doing a great job for USANA, not only for your team, but for many people. You've been an example for people in my team too. So we just have to help each other. This is our business. This is our livelihood, and there's nothing better than helping people.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Mario. We really appreciate it. And this portion will also be recorded, so that if you want to ever share this webinar of you sharing your story, you can use that for the future as well.
Very good. Thank you, Jared.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mario.